On the top of 82, go ahead and label it Follow the Sun Part 1. We've learned how to draw the lunar cycle based on the position of the sun on the right. So today we're going to review the position of still having the sun on the right, but then we're going to go ahead and move it around and see how that changes the lunar cycle. Next, you're going to want to start with the sun and the moon closest to the sun. Remember, your moon closest to the sun is always going to be your new moon and is always going to have 0% luminosity. After that, remember to move counterclockwise and fill in the lunar cycle the way you have them on your notes. A quick refresher. Let's start with the first moon that begins after the new moon, which is our waxing crescent, our first quarter, then our waxing gibbous, our full moon, our waning gibbous, our third or last quarter, our waning crescent, and finally back to our new moon. So what happens if we move the sun? So once again, we're drawing our earth and our sun, but this time our sun is going to be on the left-hand side. So always draw that moon closest to the sun. And remember, this is always our new moon and the beginning of our lunar cycle. Now we're going to move counterclockwise again and simply draw. Remember, the first three phases are waxing phases. The light is going to be on the right. Then we get to the full moon and then the light changes to the left. Our first phase after the new moon is our waxing crescent again. First quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon, waning gibbous, third and last quarter, waning crescent, and finally back to our new moon. So it does not matter where we move the sun, as long as you always begin with that new moon and move in a counterclockwise position. The moons will always remain the same. Label the top of 83, Follow the Sun Part 2. First, we'll start with our sun and our earth, and of course our new moon. So the moon nearest the sun is always that new moon. And then simply go counterclockwise and draw in your moons. So once again, we begin with our waxing crescent, our first quarter, our waxing gibbous, our full moon, and remember, the full moon is the one far from the sun. Then our waning gibbous, our third and last quarter, our waning crescent, and finally back to new moon. So what happens if we move the sun to the top? Always find that new moon and then draw in the rest of those moons. So it does not matter that I have moved the sun around. You can still see my light for my first phases is always going to be on the right, and the light for my last phases is always going to be on the left. So once again, our waxing crescent, our first quarter, our waxing gibbous, our full moon, our waning gibbous, our third or last quarter, our waning crescent, and back to our new moon. So make sure you have all 4 examples so that you understand no matter where the sun is, you can draw your lunar cycle. If you have any questions, please ask.